السلام عليكم. محاضرتنا اليوم بعنوان الجروث اند ديفلوبمنت لطلبة المرحلة الرابعة. راح نتناول موضوع الجروث اند ديفلوبمنت بكل تفاصيله. The term growth usually refers to an increase in a size or a number, while the term development will be used to refer to an increase in a complexity. Why should a dentist or orthodontist be interested in a growth and developments? First, knowledge of the general and facial growth provides a background to the understanding of the etiology and developments of the malocclusion. Such an understanding is in turn an important part of diagnosis and treatment planning process. Second, at regular intervals of the growing child, all dentists should be able to identify the abnormal or unusual pattern of skeletal growth. Third, the dentist should be able to identify abnormal occlusal developments at an early stage in order to undertake a suitable interceptive orthodontic treatment where appropriate. Occlusal developments is obviously close links to facial growth and developments, for example, premature contact may lead to an open bite or class 3 malocclusion. Fourth, inopportune and poorly timed extraction performed by the dentist during the growth that leads to a severe skeletal class 3 may have unfortunate consequences on the developments of the occlusion. Fifth, many malocclusions are at least in a part due to skeletal discrepancies between the jaws, maxilla and the mandible. Such discrepancies are usually due to difference in the comparative growth of the jaws. Sixth, orthodontic treatment may take use of growth spurts, maximum growth spurts, and other trends. The timings of the treatment in relation to these may be important. So the understanding of the kinetics of the facial growth is necessary. Seventh, most orthodontic treatments are performed in the actively growing child or adolescent. Some are dependent on favorable growth, and these treatments may have an effect on the hard and soft tissue of the area. 8, in some treatments, for example, where surgery is being considered, it is important to be able to identify when the maturity of the facial growth have been completed. 9th, growth effect can have a long-term effect on the stability of the occlusion after a treatment. This needs to be considered when a retention regime is planned. There are 3 major theories in recent years have attempted to explain the determinants of the craniofacial growth as the following. يعني هنالك 3 نظريات حديثة تفسر لنا craniofacial growth. First, the bone is the primary determinant of its own growth. Second, cartilage is the primary determinant of the skeletal growth. Third, the soft tissue matrix in which the skeletal elements are embedded in the primary determinants of the growth. يعني معناتها انه النظريات الثلاث تشرح لنا كيف يتم تكون البون. First, البون يعتبر هو المحدد الأساسي. النظرية الأولى تنص على أن البون هو المحدد الرئيسي للكرينيوفيشال جروث. النظرية الثانية تنص على أن الكارتليج هو المحدد الرئيسي للكرينيوفيشال جروث، بينما النظرية الثالثة تنص بأنه السوفت tissue matrix هو the primary determinants of the growth. The first theory implies that the genetic control is expressed directly at the levels of the bone, and therefore its focus should be the periosteum. However, this theory has been largely discarded from the 1960s. The second, or the cartilage theory, suggests that the genetic control is expressed in the cartilage while the bone responds passively to the being displaced. This theory still controversial till now. This indirect genetic control is called epigenetic. The third theory assumes that the genetic control is mediated to the large extent outside the skeletal system, and that the growth of both bone and cartilage is controlled epigenetically, occurring only in response to a sign from other tissue. Now we will discuss the growth pattern, variability, and timing. First, the growth pattern. In studies of growth and development, the concept of pattern is an important one. In general sense, pattern reflects proportionalities, usually of a complex set of proportions rather than just a single proportional relationship, because it refers not just to set of a proportional relationship at the point of the time, but to the change in this proportional relationship over time. In other words, the physical arrangements of the body at any one time is a pattern of a spatially proportioned part, but there is a high level pattern, the patterns of growth, which refers to the changes in the spatial proportions over time. This figure illustrates the changes in the overall body proportions that occur during normal growth and development. In a fetal life, about the third month of intrauterine development, the head takes up almost 50% of the total body length. At this stage, the cranium is large relative to the face and represents more than half the total head. In contrast, the limbs are still rudimentary and the trunk is underdeveloped. By the time of birth, the trunk and limbs have grown faster than the head and face, so that the proportions of the entire body devoted to the head has decreased to about 30%. The overall pattern of growth thereafter follows this course, with a progressive reduction of the relative size of the head to about 20% of the about 12% of the adults. At birth, the legs represents about 1/3 of the total body length, while in the adult they represent about half. There is more growth of the lower limbs than the upper limbs during a postnatal life. All of these changes, which are parts of the normal growth pattern, reflect these cephalocaudal gradients of growth. This simply means that there is an excess of increased growth extended from the head toward the feet. This figure is represent the changes in the proportions of the head and the face during growth. At birth, the face and jaws are relatively underdeveloped compared with their extent in the adult. As a result, there is a much more growth of the facial than the cranial structural postnatally. Second, a variability of the growth. Obviously, everyone is not alike in the way that they grow. As in everything else, it can be difficult but clinically very important to decide whether an individual is merely at the extreme of the normal variations or falls outside the normal range, rather than categorize people as normal or abnormal. It is more useful to think in terms of deviation from the usual pattern and to express variability quantitatively. One way to do this is to evaluate a given child relative to the others on the standard growth charts, which can be used in two ways to determine whether the growth is normal or abnormal. The locations of an individual relative to the growth can be established. More importantly, growth charts can be used to follow the child over the time to evaluate whether there is an unexpected change in the growth pattern. Now we will discuss the timing of the growth. A final major concept in physical growth and development is that of the timing. Variation in timing arises because the same events happen for a different individual at different times or viewed differently. The biological clocks of the different individuals are set differently. Variation in the growth and development because of the timing are particularly evident in human adolescence. Some children grow rapidly and mature early, completing their growth quickly and thereby appearing on a high side of a developmental charts until their growth ceased and their contemporaries begin to catch up. Others grow and develop slowly and so appear to be behind, even though given time they will catch up with and even exceed children who once were larger. All children undergo spurts of growth as the adolescent, but the growth spurts occur at different times and at different individuals. And thank you for your attention.